Few places on earth can rival Alexandria, Egypt, as a legendary seat of scholarly endeavour, a crucible where the very foundations of human knowledge were forged. And what more fitting stage could there be then to witness the future of modern pentathlon? What better place to unveil the thrilling evolution of 5 demanding disciplines, all wrapped into one ultimate Olympic sport? Hello and a very, very warm welcome to the Arab Academy for Science, Technology and Maritime Transport, host of the 2025 Pentathlon World Cup final. Today, 18 incredible men will battle not only each other, but also the brutally hot conditions, all vying for just 9 coveted spots in tomorrow's grand final. They will begin with the fencing round. 5 rounds of direct elimination, win and you go through, lose and you go out. Moving from the piste to the OCR, the obstacle course race, 70 meters, 8 obstacles to be tackled. They'll go out in 9 pairs, but it's a race against the clock. The fastest time gets the most modern pentathlon points. From the obstacles to the pool, again a race against the clock. 3 heats with 6 athletes going in each heat. 200 meters of the 25-meter pool, so 8 laps to complete to set a time and get the points banked up for the double header to finish things off. The laser run, a formation lap around the 600-meter course, the start of a 3,000-meter run. Once they've been round the track once, they'll enter the range for the first of 4 visits, where they have to hit the target 5 times before they progress on to the remainder of the run. After the 4th visit, the athletes will all be racing to the finish line. The outer loop into the inner loop, and the first 9 to cross that line will make it to the grand final tomorrow. All in one location, and local time, it's a little after 4 p.m. and so the stands are getting pretty full here. There is a nice cooling breeze, but all the spectators are also under cover, under the shade of the stands. 18 athletes in the lineup, and we've got some big names here as well. The athletes come out based on their fencing ranking over the season, so no more seeding round.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome the UIPM
score in the fence at the 3 World Cups combined to give you your rank coming into this semi-final.
With fencing direct elimination.
So 18 athletes ready to come out, and here is the first athlete. Top of the fencing ranking, the 2024 European champion and Paris 2024 Olympian, Alexander Tofkai.
And representing France, Valentin Belot,
2-time Olympian, 2019 world champion from France, Valentin Belot is out next. He's got a list of results that are far too long to call out. 2-time World Cup silver medalist this season from Hungary, Mihaly Kolojar. Michael, as he's known on the circuit. 5th at the Paris Olympic Games, Matteo Ciccinelli comes out next. European and world bronze medalist at junior level. Got a gold and silver on the World Cup circuit this season. Akim Nedchik, just 16 years old, fresh off competing at the Junior World Championships in Hungary last weekend. Just missed out on a medal at the Budapest World Cup. Former under-17 world champion will threaten. Junior world bronze medalist here last year in Alexandria. The second of the Ukrainians, Roman Popov, is out next. Christian Chamizo from Spain regularly threatens the podium, but hasn't quite made it at a big one yet. 2 World Cup silvers for the next athlete, and 2 junior world titles. Cue the crowd, because it's Egypt's Mutas Mohammed. Defended his world title at junior level in Hungary last weekend. Taitas Peronas from Lithuania, hosts of the World Championships a little bit later on this year. He's the 2023 Under-24 European bronze medalist. Now Argentine Franco Serrano. He competed at the Paris 2024 Games. He also competed at the Youth Olympic Games back in Buenos Aires in 2018. Guess what? Another Egyptian out next, another young Egyptian, under-19 world bronze medalist last year, Mohamed Hassan. Second of the Hungarians coming out next, the 2024 European champion, Andras Gull.
Representing Switzerland, Vital Müller.
Vital Müller using the French grip in the fence. He's from Switzerland. He finished 11th at the 2022 Under-24 European Championships. He competed in Budapest and Leipzig this season. Now China's Ji Shifan, the dark horse of the pack, I have to say. Can Ji spring a surprise in this men's semi-final? 17th in Budapest at the World Cup in April. Certainly got it. Now Czechia's Matos Tuma. Solid performances this season. He was 4th at the 2022 Junior European Championships. Now the Japanese athlete Ashida Yoshiki. 3rd year on the World Cup circuit. Another athlete that will probably need to be in a good position by the time we get to the laser run. Now Korea's Son Junwook. Only competed at the Budapest World Cup this season, but did enough to qualify for this World Cup final. He finished 8th at Under-19 World Championships in 2022. And completing the field, 13th at the 2024 European Championship, shows that he can compete. Pau Salomo from Spain completes the lineup of 18 athletes for this men's semi-final here at the World Cup final in Egypt. Parade of contenders for just 9 places. Well, the fence is coming up next. It'll be the first of the disciplines. We've met the athletes. I'm Karim Bashir, and joining me in the commentary box, Youth Olympic Games finalist and from Africa, Alida van der Merwe. Alida, it is a great semi-final lineup.
It is such a fantastic lineup we have, from junior world champions to senior world champions and even Olympians. We are set for some thrilling action.
We certainly are, and we've got 2 pieces. The feature piece will be in the main screen here, the A piece as it's known, and I'll take you through the action there while a leader keeps us posted on the action on the B piece. Coming up on the A piece, ranked 16th for the fence, Ashida from Japan goes up against Son of Korea. First to 5 hits, 1 minute of fencing. The leading fencer, if they don't get to 5 hits, progresses through to the next round. But rank is important, because if the scores are tied after a minute, the highest ranked fencer goes through. In this case, Ashida is ranked 16th, Son 17th, but Son gets the important point. Coming out on the B piece, it's Tuma of Czechia going up against Salomo of Spain. Tuma, the higher ranked fencer on piece B. In the top right of your screen, you'll see that picture-in-picture as Ashida draws level here on A.
Action on B. Salomo picks up that first point in the first 15 seconds. Tumo on the right, Salomo on the left, and it's a double point on piece B, making the score 2-1.
Oh, Ashida having to fight hard here on the A-piste to make it through. A ducking counter sees him hold the lead. Now Son has to go after his opponent.
Tuma evens out the score, making it 2-2 with that flesh attack up upon Salomo.
This is a cracking fight on the A-piste. Son leveling up. He needs another point though, because he is the lower seed. A tie only benefits Ashida inside the last 10 seconds.
Salomo grabs a beautiful touch on the foot there. 3-2 for Salomo.
Oh, Yoshida getting the winning hit. The death of this match. It's not quite 5 points, but it will be enough to go through. Son does go chasing after it, but he'll get clocked out. Ashida through to the round of 16.
Tuma attempted a flash attack there, even at the score, making it 4-3. Less than 10 seconds on the clock. Tension is building up on Piece B. Oh, close quarters, no point. And it's Tuma who picks up that first point. Tuma with the highest seed here with the priority, so doubles in favor of Tuma.
A furious battle on A-piste. Sounds like it's a furious battle over on B as well.
Score is still 4-4. Salomo launched himself for a flash attack. Less than 1 second left. Tuma only needs to go towards the back of the piece, but it will be Salomo once again launching himself. Just checking the distancing. And it clocks out. Victory for Tuma. And we'll say goodbye to Salomo, who had a great run in this first round of 32.
Well, we're back on the A-piste, and Ashida stays on the piece. He's actually swapped ends as Alexander Tovkai, the top-ranked fencer, comes on for his first fight and finds himself a point down.
Action to commence on Piece B will be Tuma, the Czechia athlete, and Below of France.
Beautiful hit to the low line for Tovkai to level up here. Tovkai using the French grip, known as a pommeler, holds the end of the grip, gives him a bit of extra reach. French grip is a straight grip if you're new to épée fencing. Whole body's target, and it is the first one to hit. You've got to hit your opponent with the tip of your sword. Historically, it's based on the old dueling sword.
Action commencing on Piece B. Below on your right-hand side, Tuma on the left. Below finished 5th in the fencing final in Cairo and 3rd in the fencing final in Prasarchik. He will be looking to bring that experience here in Alexandria. Tuma applying pressure.
The top guy on A-piste has got the lead here, and it means that Ashida has to go after his opponent, and with a predictable tactic, Tovkai is able to control the fight with defensive blade actions.
It is 1-1, Tuma and Below. Less than 25 seconds left. Oh, and a touch for Below, just on the touch of Tuma.
Tovkai's made it through here. Controlled the fight once he got the lead and used his reach advantage with that pommel grip, that French grip, to seal the deal and make it into the quarterfinals.
Tuma was looking for that attack there, but it was Below who responded with a step back and rip past. Excellent stuff from Below. It is 1-3. Less than 13 seconds, and Below picks up that 4th point. Below really comfortable in the lead here.
We're coming on to the feature piece. It's Mutas Mohammed here. He's on the right-hand side. And Mohammed will take on Titas Peronas of Lithuania on the left. This is now the round of 16 stage, winners going into the top 8 or the quarterfinals.
So below won that bout and will be up next against the winner of Chamizo and Serrano.
So Peronas, another French gripper. You see his hand just a little bit away from the guard with that extra reach. It's the more commonly used pistol grip in the hands of Mutas Mohammed. Don't gain on distance, but you do gain on control, and that's why Mohammed was able to come up into what's known as the prime line for the riposting close quarters onto the thigh of his opponent. Oh, that is lovely. Went from cart, the windscreen wiper parry, down into octave, which is down on his low line right-hand side, and then had hold of his opponent's blade and just closed him out. Didn't quite time that second intention attack on preparation. He lured the attack from Peronas, but Peronas landed it to level up halfway through the match here.
Action on piece B. We have Serrano on the left-hand side and Chamizo on the right-hand side. Chamizo with the priority, and it's a double point, 1-1. Only 40 seconds of this bout left. Still lots that can happen on piece B.
Well, Mohammed had to wait patiently for that one on A. He had to level up. And now the pressure back on Peronas because Mohammed is the highest seed and the scores are level. He will go through.
Excellent point control from Chamizo, but it's Serrano who picks up that second point. Scores even, 2-2, 28 seconds left.
Nice fakes from Mohammed to the high line there. Beautiful third hit from the Egyptian with the ducking counter-attack. And in close quarters again, in the high-handed prime line. Could only really achieve those delicate hits with that pistol grip. And Mutas Mohammed delights the home crowd to make it through.
Chamizo now with a 4-2 lead. There's less than 10 seconds left. It is up to Serrano to make a comeback, but it's Chamizo with that brilliant prim up upon Serrano. And it is Chamizo who will be up next against Below of France.
Brilliant stuff there from Mutas Mohammed. They are putting it on the line here on the piste in these super hot conditions. Up next on the feature piece, Nedchik on the right-hand side. The neutral athlete is going up against Gull of Hungary.
Action to start on piece B will be Hassan of Egypt and Popov of Ukraine.
We're up and running here. Keeping that hand back of a tall fencer, that means that the extension of the arms are a bit of a surprise. That looks like it may well have hit the floor around the side of the piece. The piece itself is earth, so if you touch the piece with your sword, no light will come up, but the blue carpet surrounding it does bring up a light, and all the athletes here are really honest about when they do accidentally hit outside the piece.
Action on piece B. Popov finished 8th in the fencing final in Budapest, 9th in the fencing final in Cairo, so this gave him the priority with a higher seeded fence. Hassan on the left-hand side, no score yet.
Lovely attack from Nedchik here on A. If you're just joining us, Alida van der Merwe is taking us through the action on the B piece in the top right-hand of your screen. You use 2 pieces through the round of 16, and then we'll come together on the piece A for the quarterfinals onwards. Oh, brilliant attack on preparation from Nedchik. He's making this look easy now.
It is a 2-0 lead for Popov. Hassan was launching himself those attacks, but it's Popov just really blocking off his blade with those parries. He's really just patiently waiting for Hassan's response. An excellent point there from Popov. Attack on preparation. Brilliant timing, but it's Hassan who needs to respond if you want to make a comeback.
Must be something in the air, because Nedchik had an attack on preparation, second one in a row from him. He is making his way steadily through. Gal does get on the scoreboard, but with 20 seconds left, he is going to have to put the afterburners on to close this one out. Nedchik does indeed close it out. Nedchik making it through to the quarterfinals of the fence here in the men's semi-final at the World Cup final.
And with that said, we will see Popov in the quarterfinals too. He'll be up next against the winner of Kolosov and G of China.
See Nedchik's beautiful flashing. He landed the timing of those absolutely on the money for a place in the quarterfinals. So coming out on the A piste, we have the Swiss pentathlete Vital Müller going up against Matteo Ciccinelli, the Italian. Ciccinelli on the right-hand side is the higher seed on piste A. You've got one more on piste B, haven't you, Alida?
We do. We have Kolosov on the right-hand side and G on the left-hand side. Kolosov picked up 2 silver medals at the World Cups this season. He finished second in the fencing final in Cairo, as well as the fencing final in Budapest. He is the highest seeded fencer on this bout.
Well, that's just about to get underway. We are underway here. In fact, both fights starting at the same time. Alida following the action at the top right of your screen. And with Müller and Ciccinelli on the A piste. Ciccinelli trying to launch a flash attack to surprise his opponent off balance, but Müller was ready for it. And we see a double. Only épée fencing features double hits, both fencers hitting within 200ths of a second. Both score, and they demonstrate it on cue again.
It is a 2-0 lead for G. Kolosov looking for those attacks, but it's G with those lightning fast reactions. And as that said, a beautiful prim from Kolosov to get that first point for him on this bout. Less than 40 seconds left. Beautiful touch from Kolosov, lunge into extension. It is 2-2 piste B.
Well, only doubles here until now, when Vital Müller lands a closing defensive action to take the lead, and now Ciccinelli's got to go after this one. Are we going to get an upset here?
Just had G fall off the side of the piste there, but it seems that no point will be ruled on a piste B.
Ciccinelli there with a change of lines with a beat attack of fair, the beat attack in the septime line, low left for the right-hander, and then knocking his opponent's blade out of the way to level up. So now it's Müller who has to go after this.
So to clarify, action on piste B, it was, the previous point was a point after hold, but it was G who responded and got that lunge. Kolosov responding, it gets untidy, but it's a point for Kolosov. But it seems again, point after halt. And it looks like a card for G. Could be close quarters, core and core.
Well, Ciccinelli not waiting around for Müller here on A. Ciccinelli had to come from behind, but he showed his fencing prowess to make it through to the quarterfinals. And the last hit, a beautiful flash attack again on preparation. He saw the opportunity to land a hit as Müller just got too close. Ciccinelli safely through.
Well, given G's yellow card, which is only a warning, he responds and picked up that last point, and he picks up the 5th point, which is what he needs to win this bout up against Kolosov. Kolosov, the 3rd highest seeded fencer, is now out of the standings.
So we have had an upset as we now turn all our attention, as the fight is over there, to the A piste, and we have the top seed Alexander Tovkai coming up against Mutaz Muhammad, the Egyptian, on the left-hand side. He's going to have his hands full here. Going with seed in the first quarterfinal, Tovkai number 1, Muhammad number 8. this for a place in the semi-finals of the fence. Well, there was an opportunity for Mohammed, but he didn't take it, and Tovkai picked him off, and a leader come over from B to join me on A. We've got a pretty tasty lineup, but Kolosar going out there, bit of a shock. Did you talk about G being a bit of a dark horse?
Yeah, real shuffle of standings in the fencing bout. But it's Mohammed who went for that duck, but Tovkai responded. Lightning fast reactions from Tovkai.
Yeah, good on his feet, isn't he? Using the feet to control the distance, staying safe, and with that extra reach, not only with his height but also the pommel grip, he's picking off his opponent and able to double out as well.
Yeah, really big parries there from Mohammed. I think Tovkai just really saw that opening. But it's 2-3, less than 20 seconds left.
Oh, they both had 2 goes at that. Mohammed missed twice. His first one was evaded with distance by Tovkai. Tovkai didn't land his first counter-attack, and Mutas Mohammed couldn't land his remise. Tovkai getting a little bit of a lucky one there, but they all count.
And Mohammed goes for that duck again, but it's Tovkai who knows what to do. We say goodbye to Mohammed. Tovkai makes his way through to the semi-finals. He'll be up next against the winner of Nechik and Ziccinelli.
A couple of times, that was the failed attack and remise from Mohammed. Look there, he missed twice, and just good distance control from Tovkai. He didn't land his first one, but then got his disengage back underneath the armpit of his opponent.
There was also just that step backwards where he opened the distance, where he could spot that open area where he could get that remise.
Yeah, eyes open fencing when the first attack didn't land is what's required. So we move on to the bottom half of the draw, where Belot of France is on the right-hand side, and he goes up against Spain's Chamizo on the left. Lefty against righty, and this view means it's difficult to see their bodies, but you can see that Belot is the much taller fencer. He's trying to disguise that reach and height and the length of his lunge by bending his knees and that little lean forward in the body, luring his opponent close enough so that he can launch an attack.
Even just having his arm a bit more tucked in than usual, but you can see he has a French grip here, so he has that reach that he needs. Just patiently waiting, still no score on the clock. Chamizo goes for the foot, Belot response. And it's Belot with that flesh attack. Flesh, like we said, meaning arrow in French, so it's that straightforward follow-through action. Time is ticking. Chamizo applying pressure to Belot. Belot should be careful at the back line. And his foot is across the line. It'll be a point for Chamizo.
Should be listening to you, Alida. You gave him the warning, and then he stepped right over the back. Consider the fencing piece like a table. And if you step off the table, you obviously fall onto the floor, so you can't score. But it doesn't matter, because another point for Belot means with the clock running down, Chamizo needs 3 here to have a chance of progressing. He gets 1.
Belot just questioning the body collision, but it's Chamizo who just scores it before that. Less than 4 seconds left. Belot will go to the back of the piece. He has to be careful with that back line.
Now, you've got to fancy Belot has got to have the afterburners going on in reverse here, unless he springs a surprise.
Belot will need to refocus and launch for that attack, but it clocks out.
Oh, Chamizo taking out the number 2 seed. It's all happening in your half of the draw.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was that step over the line, and you don't realize how fast it can happen when you towards that end of the piece. And it just shows, we know below is really experienced and it can happen to anyone, but even a slip.
Yeah.
Looks
There's
as
that.
if there's not much grip.
There's the step over the back line that you were talking about. Yeah, I heard the athletes talking a little bit earlier on. Not only is the piece super hot, but there's a sand track around the outside here. And as they're walking out onto the piece, they're picking up some of that sand, and then it makes the piste very, very slippy. So below has gone, Chamizo through. So we've got half of the semi-finals set up, and now we've got Popov going up against the giant killer G. Popov from Ukraine against G of China. China being represented solely by G on the left-hand side.
Chamizo will be fencing against the winner of this round, so he'll be analyzing these two athletes. Popov on the right with priority. Popov launches himself for that lunge. His guard is really set in a perfect position, and any movement he just gets the right point with his point control. But it's a double point, G and Popov. Doubles in favor of Popov. Popov and G just asking to fix the bend in their blade. Popov distracting his opponent with those actions and just flicks it on the top of G's hand. And like we said, Popov has a perfect on-guard position, doesn't he? And at any point that he gets, it will be precisely on target.
Yeah, sword arm, wrist, elbow and shoulder all in the same line, and that just makes him really solid with the arm extensions, and also makes it very difficult for the right-hander to get around the outside.
He's just patiently waiting for his opponent to make a mistake and gets that point, but it's again victory for Popov. Makes it look so easy.
Yeah, didn't get the first one, didn't panic, and finished with the remise of the attack. They missed that first one, and then with full extension, still able to perform that little disengage. That's where you go underneath your opponent's blade, right there.
And it's a small disengage that Popov has, not a really big action, and that's precisely what you need for those épée fencing actions. But now we have the next two athletes.
Yep, up next to complete the semi-final lineup. It's Nedchik, the neutral athlete, who's ranked number 5, going up against the number 4 Italian Ciccinelli.
So Ciccinelli finished 8th in the fencing final in Cairo and 4th in the fencing final in Pozarchik. And Nedchik, the younger one of the athletes, I think only 16, 17 years of age. So looking for the experience here in the World Cup season. A different fencing style from Nedchik, his hand a bit more further back. But don't be disguised by that, because he's setting up a surprise action. And as you can see, Ciccinelli just playing with the distance there. Scores 1-1, 43 seconds left.
Yeah, unorthodox from Nedchik. The back foot, very, very classic fencing. The feet are at right angles, and as you can see, the front knee pointing forwards and the back knee pointing forwards for Nedchik. So it's quite unorthodox compared to Olympic fencing, but you can see it's a little bit similar from Ciccinelli. And as Ciccinelli levels up, it has become a thing in fencing that perhaps it's better for the back knee to have the back foot slightly turned in. But I don't think I've ever seen anyone with the knee pointing forwards, the back knee pointing forwards, quite as much as Nedchik.
Well, just have a look at this trap that Nedchik is setting up for Ciccinelli. He's really drawing him in to go towards the left-hand side of the piece. And once he makes that attack, he just steps back and gets the point. And it's the 4th point Nedchik picks up. Ciccinelli is forced to attack, and that's exactly what Nedchik ordered.
So canny fencing from the neutral athlete.
But Ciccinelli responds appropriately. 4-3, 15 seconds left. More than enough time for Ciccinelli to create a comeback. Goes for a duck. Oh, it looks like Nedchik just let go of the weapon there, but Cicinelli got it before he dropped the blade. 4-4, doubles in favor of Cicinelli, so Nečik will need to attack, and it's Nečik with a point.
Brilliant fencing from Akim Nečik, the neutral athlete, just 16 years old, the youngest in the field, and he is through to the semi-finals of the fence. With some, what a tactical masterclass, really. Second intention, fake attacks, even though they look fully committed, they're from too far away to really threaten, but it lures Cicinelli into then launching his attack, and then the real intention coming through from Nečik. Cicinelli out of the fence. We are down to 4, and we go back to the top half of the draw. Nečik stays on, and he goes up against the top seed, Tovkai. Tovkai on the right.
As you can see, the star next to Tovkai's name shows that he has the priority, as well as him being on the right-hand side of the piece. Nečik will be applying that similar strategy as what he did in the previous piece, just luring his opponent in. But it's Tovkai who has to be careful with those attacks, but it's Tovkai who knows what he is doing. You can see the experience against the young Nečik.
Working off the blade. Tovkai, yep. He's decided, we must have been watching that fight and said, right, I know what I'm going to do against Nečik. I've got to get that blade out of the way. Negate the second intention. So how does Nečik react? He decides he's going to go out on the attack.
That was a brilliant timed duck from Tovkai. Just waited for Nečik's arm to extend and picked it up right underneath. Nečik, switching up the strategy, went for the flesh, but it's Tovkai knows what to do. Picks up a double point, 3-1 to Tovkai.
Could have been a single there for Tovkai. He snatched at the hit. If he just launched his arm forward, he might have got away with one light counter-attack, but still leads by 2.
Nečik trying to set up an attack with those feint, and he gets just on the hand of Tovkai. You can see Tovkai adjusting his glove there. Must have felt a hand touch, but Nečik launches for that leg touch, but it's Tovkai. He just knows that timing, he knows that distance, and picked it up on the high line.
That second hit from Nečik was actually created, as you said, brilliantly hit on the hand, but it was actually created by a bit of lateral movement on the piece. It was a clever use of sideways movement on the piece to create an opening.
And there we have it, Tovkai victorious in this bout, but a great run from the young Nečik.
How important is this run from Tovkai as the top seed? He's made it through to the semi-finals of the World Cup final. Fancy he wants to get as many points in the fence as he possibly can to set himself up for later. So the second semi-final coming out now. Popov of Ukraine on the right goes up against Spain's Chamizo. Chamizo coming through the 16, beating Serrano and then taking out the number 2 seed, Valentin Bello, in the last round. Can Chamizo spring another surprise here?
Just look at that footwork from Popov, not moving forward or backward. He's just patiently waiting for Chamizo to respond. You know Popov to have a great point control, as that said, timing too. It couldn't be a touch on the floor as the piece is earthed.
Well, it was such a delicate touch that even Popov checked the piece to make sure it was earthed, because sometimes the earthing wire does come unattached, but that was a bit more of a classic closing counter to go 2-0 up.
So it's Popov who went for that second action, but Chamizo just blocking off Popov's blade.
Popov's got his mindset and his tactical brain ready. You'll notice that Chamizo is getting very, very close before doing anything with his hands. So Popov could just launch an attack into preparation here if he times it well. We talked about the sort of delicate footwork. We're not seeing that explosive double tap of the feet from Popov. And Chamizo taking advantage, knowing that Popov's not going to go after him.
Flesh for Chamizo. Doubles in favor for Chamizo, but what a comeback from the Spaniard.
Where's the B plan from Popov, though?
Here we have it, a flesh attack.
About time. Roman Popov finally deciding he has to bring the B game to the piste. He is the higher ranked fencer, and he does in the end close it out, but boy oh boy, he left that late.
I think Chamizo just asking to check his blade, but brilliant stuff from Popov.
Well, we've got an interesting lineup in the final of the fence. Two Ukrainians going up against each other. There's that delicate touch to foot. I mean, it was such a quick tap on the foot. Oh, brilliant camera work. Getting that. And yeah, absolutely just managed to nail the hit to foot. We've got two Ukrainians in the final of the fence here. Both play the A game of defense. Are we going to see a minute or 58 seconds of them bouncing up and down, not going anywhere near each other, and both flashing at each other?
Well, I'll tell you what, these two probably have trained against each other or even competed against each other back home. So they're quite familiar with each other.
Yeah,
interesting.
It will be. Tovkai on the right, Popov on the left. This to win the fence here at the World Cup final. Men's semi-final, round number 2. We have 9 through to the final, and 9 more will join them from this semi-final.
And Popov goes for that flesh, but as Tovkai just steps backwards, opens the distance. A bit far for Popov on his flesh. You can see Popov applying pressure, goes low, finishes up high, but it's a double point. Scores 2-1 for Tovkai.
Well, you called it, these two will know each other very well, and sometimes that does mean the fight turns into a bit of a scrap. It was a bit of a scrap for that second hit.
Brilliant from Tovkai, just on the top of Popov's hand. You can really see that point control is excellent.
Yeah, a bit of hypnotic movement of the blade. He made Popov follow his blade round and open up the top line. Just trying underneath the hand there. Popov has to go for it again. He left it late last time, but finally he launches that attack. He actually said, anything you can do, I can do better. It was exactly the same hit, just the other way around. This time Popov still needs 2 more hits. There's 1 to level things up. He's done it before.
Popov is just so relaxed in his fencing style. He is just really patient with the timing of every single touch. And the time is ticking off, but Popov launches himself for that attack. I don't know if it was a bit of a risky move for Popov.
He's got to go for it, though. Tied score will only favour Tovkai. Popov off the line way decides to give it up, settle for second place. Tovkai, therefore, wins the fence here and gets the 250 ranking points. Good for Popov with 244. Nedchik and especially Chamizo will be absolutely delighted finishing in the semi-finals with 236 points.
And just look how relaxed Popov is.
Yeah, that was that little hypnotic movement of the blade to flick over the top. The next hit, though, was the same from Popov. But in the end, the two Ukrainians, letting the last second and a half go through. You can see how hard the conditions are here. Tovkai perspiring like you wouldn't believe, but he has taken the fence here, and this is his route through. The highest ranked fencer had a bye through the 32, incomplete 32. Took out Ishida, Mohammed, Nedchik, and then his teammate Popov for a win in the fence on time. So the rankings are upon us, and there will be no movement at the top. Tokai stays second. A big move from Popov, up 4 places. Nedchik 2, Chamizo 3. Those 4 will be delighted. Drop for Billow and Ciccinelli. They'll be disappointed with their fence. The middle of the pack is where we're going to be focused. G having a great run to gain 6 places from 14th up to 8. And Mutas Mohammed moving up a place as well. Sitting on the bubble, Mihaly Kolasar from Hungary dropping 6 places. And behind him, the chasing pack is led by Peronas from Lithuania. Still early days, but this pack will need to be looking to close up the gap in points through the next discipline as we move away from the fence to the obstacle course. But before we go to the obstacle course, let's take a look back at Tovkai winning the fence. The Ukrainians in supremacy on the piste. First of 5 disciplines. Tovkai taking the win over teammate Popov. The athletes now move from the fence to the OCR, the obstacle course race. 8 obstacles over 70 meters. It's the overheads that are the real challenge here. Time for the second discipline in the men's second semi-final here at the 2025 World Cup final. It's a thrilling new discipline here, and let's take an athlete's view of the course.
So we have a GoPro strapped to the head of Jana Atia, Egyptian pentathlete, who makes her way through these tilted ladders. It's then the over, under and through portion of the obstacles. This 5th obstacle is the drawed obstacle, the flying hoops. Really important with that momentum drive here. Giant steps onto the climbing holds. All about grip endurance with this piece of the obstacle, and then a sprint finish for that buzzer.
Well, 9 pairs will come out for this obstacle course race, and they come out in 9 heats. They will be, yes, racing against each other, but really they're racing against the clock. So they go in reverse order, Salomo and Son coming out first as we move up through the pack. This is all about the clock, and this is all about those who can get round this course, have had a practice. We know that the Egyptians are pretty handy at this, especially the athlete that defended his junior world title a little bit earlier on this week. It was on Sunday. He took the 2nd world title in a row at junior level. So, Salomo in the red. The Spaniard going up against the Korean Son. Our first look at the obstacle course for the men in the second semi-final.
And they're off. Steps into the giant wheel. Tilted ladders, all about that rhythm. And it's Salomo and Son neck and neck, but it's Salomo making moves here onto the flying hoops. What a lâcher from Salomo, that catch and release onto the climbing holds. He skips that first climbing hold. Fast hands here, and it's a sprint finish for Salomo. What a time! 26 seconds for Salomo. Excellent stuff as Son finishes on around 32.0 seconds, but Salomo, no time to waste for the Spaniard.
Faster than the first men's semi-final, I think. That is the new course record. Salomo setting the times.
Just look at that release and catch from Salomo, really clean and smooth. And it was here on that finish wall. Didn't struggle at all with that final push as he launched himself to touch the buzzer.
Very, very quick time. Now Ashida of Japan on the far side, and Jakia's Tuma, who's pretty quick over the obstacles. Heat 2 underway.
Giant wheel, tilted ladders, that one arm catch and release. Oh, flies over, under and through. Flying hoops for Tuma. Needs to build that momentum for that swing. Oh, and he just missteps in that last bit. That will cost him some time. Tuma needs to run again for his second attempt. He'll be thinking about that landing. Once again, sticks it. Great recovery from Tuma. Goes for that second climbing holds. Needs that forward-backward swing that he manages. And it's a finish wall. And we have Ashida finishing up on the climbing holds. Needs to stick that landing, and it's a sprint finish for Ashida. Clocking around 58 seconds.
Yeah, Ashida also having to have another go at the flying hoops. And you see the hands taped up here. Not only are they struggling a little bit with the obstacles, but also the heat.
Representing Switzerland.
You can just see that misstepping from Tuma, that back foot on the mattress. And he had to repeat himself for a second time through the flying hoops.
Yeah, so Tuma not getting what he wanted there. Next up, Muller on the far side with the dark shorts, and the green shorts is Andras Gahl, Switzerland versus Hungary.
Big wheels to the tilted ladders, using that one arm hold. And it's brilliant stuff from these two athletes, over, under, and through, straight into the flying hoops. No time to waste. They make use of that swing backwards and forward. Almost looked like Mueller was looking to the right.
Yeah, he recovered a bit there, didn't he?
Climbing holds, fast hands for Mueller. He uses that one arm. And it's a sprint finish for Mueller and Gahl. They're touching neck and neck, but it's Mueller with that second faster. 30 seconds for Mueller and 31 for Gahl.
Stunning stuff. They were neck and neck, and as you called it, Swiss athlete was going sideways at one point.
In lane A, representing Egypt.
Brilliant pictures from the course.
But look at that one arm hold that Mueller made use of. We haven't quite seen that yet on the climbing holds. It's not easy to do because you're just transferring all your weight to that one arm instead of the both arms.
Next up, Mohamed Hassan of Egypt on the far side up against Franco Serrano, the Argentine closest to us, but Hassan getting out to a great start.
No time to waste for Hassan. 3 moves in one. Over, under, through. Straight into the flying hoops. Oh, look at that technique.
Oh, my goodness.
The 3 lâchers from Hassan made easy. Climbing holds. Fast hand grips here. It is onwards and upwards for Hassan. It is 26 seconds for Hassan of Egypt. Serrano finishing up on those flying hoops. You can really see that momentum he's trying to generate. It's all about that core engagement and hip movement.
He must have had a fail there because he's a long way back.
I tell you, his grip will be tiring out here in the climbing holds. He needs to hold on till the end.
Oh no, he's fallen into the obstacle. You've got to get onto the red mat to get through, and those arms, if they were hurting before, they're going to be really hurting now.
This is a real test of resilience with that grip strength, but Serrano is proving He is stronger. And it's a finish wall for Serrano. Great stuff from Serrano. I'll tell you, that was not easy to do, but better getting through the obstacles than elimination.
Real grit and determination. He'll enjoy the little rest he's got before the swim, but look at this from Hassan. The 3 swings through that obstacle, the flying hoops. And this is the quickest way to get through, but it's all about technique and momentum. And look at him, it's like he's flying through the air up on the wall of death. Now Peronas on the far side against the Hungarian Kolozsvár, who's very quick over the obstacles. Quick.
Excellent from Kolozsvár. A leap, a duck, and a dive for the over, under, and through. He goes for that second flying hoop. No time to waste for Kolozsvár. Dances through the giant steps. The second climbing hold for the Hungarian.
This is ridiculous speed here.
A sprint for the finish. It will be the fastest time in this men's semi-final. 25.6 seconds. And it's Peronas just finishing up on the climbing holds. A sprint finish for Peronas. Clocks around 35 seconds. Excellent stuff from Kolozsvár. He skipped to the second tilted ladders. And like we say, if that's done, it really differentiates the good athletes from the elite.
A new course record set by Michal Kolozsvár there, and there are those tilted ladders. I mean, it was just such an electric start. But to keep the momentum, you keep telling me about the fact that you've got to keep the swing going, and has enough time to just sort out his glasses before climbing the wall. It's all about the look as well as the speed for Kolozsvár. Next, G on the far side in the red shirt, and Mohammed for Egypt. We know Mohammed is quick, but G's not bad over the obstacles either, and G in the lead.
Sticks that landing from G. Slides under, pops right through, straight into the flying hoops. Look at that, but he's just losing momentum there. It's Mu'taz catching up. What a technique from Mu'taz Mohammed. He catches up to G. This is a race. Exciting, rapid, fast grip strength. Mohammed sticks that landing. And it's a finish for just under 30 seconds.
Absolutely brilliant stuff. And dead on 30 seconds for G. 29.81 for Mohammed. Amazing stuff from the double junior world champion.
Just watch this on the flying hoops. He's been practicing it and making it perfect. Excellent stuff from Mohammed, but from G too. Quite in sync there with the finish buzzer. Watch that 30-second clocked.
Brilliant stuff. And we've got another fantastic heat coming up now. Matteo Ciccinelli on the far side for Italy, and Francis Valentin below. They're both quick over the obstacles.
And they're off. Big wheel straight into the tilted ladders. What will these two athletes do? Making use of a one-arm release, and beautiful stuff from the two athletes using similar techniques. Over, under, through, straight into the flying hoops. Below, catching and releasing, making use of that drive once again. Oh, loses that momentum, but it's Ciccinelli, and below sticks that landing. And below slips on the giant steps. Ciccinelli on the climbing holds. It's grip strength from Ciccinelli. He finishes. Will it be under 35 seconds? Oh, 35 seconds for Ciccinelli, and below for 39. What happened to below on those giant steps?
Yeah, we haven't seen anyone slip there, so loss of concentration, perhaps thinking too far ahead and not nailing the giant steps. And you can see the Frenchman a little bit regretful of that. Watch this.
It's that first step that he just doesn't quite get the grip. So he had to return to the start of those giant steps and repeat, and lost really precious seconds there. But great stuff from the Italian Ciccinelli.
Yeah, good to see that Bello doesn't look injured. Next up, Chamiso in red and Nedchik in white, closest to us.
Big wheel onto that second tilted ladder. Incredible. Nedchik slides under, pops through. What will he do in the flying hoops?
Oh my goodness me, that is incredible.
Climbing holds for Nedchik. This is sure to be the fastest time of this semi-final. Nedchik clocks around 23 seconds.
He has smashed the course record that was just set by Kolesar by 2 seconds.
Chamizo making his final run. Will it be just over 35 seconds, 36.58 seconds? But what an incredible run from Nechik.
Absolutely electric. Oh, I'd love to see that again on a replay. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some of it on a replay. Look at him fly through the air.
Not only did he go for that second tilted ladder, but watch what he did in those flying hoops. He went for that, just great catch and release from Nechik. Almost look as if he didn't even touch the flying hoops.
Just beautiful to watch. The last heat now, the 2 Ukrainians leading the pack at the moment. Popov on the far side, Tovkai closest to us.
And they're off and away. Starts with that big wheel straight into the tilted ladders using that one arm hold and release.
Looks like they've been trained by the same obstacle course coach.
Over, under, through, straight into the flying hoops. Loses some momentum there. They'll need to commit to that landing. Dancing through the giant steps. Goes for that second climbing hold. All about that forward, backward movement. Great stuff from Tovkai. Will it be 37 seconds for Tovkai, and Popov just underneath the 40-second benchmark.
Incredible stuff. Those two have both done the course in under 30 seconds, and Nedchik's points, look at what that run has done, a 23.50 for Akim Nedchik. As we take a look back at the 2 Ukrainians, starter gun goes, and at the beginning they were almost like they were doing this like a synchronized race.
Yeah, it was just that technique in the tilted ladders that they did mirror image against each other. But it was, I think, Tovkai who did a different approach to the climbing holds and really had that fast grip and release.
Yeah, and he got the lead in the flying hoops. Both of them lost a little bit of momentum through the flying hoops, but Tovkai up the wall of death and hitting on 37.23. But we have 5 athletes inside 30 seconds. A 26.97 for Hassan, 26.34 for Solomo. And here are the timings. Nedchik smashing the course record by over 2 seconds to move up 3 places, but Kolesar, with his run, has moved up 8 places. Murtaz Mohammed, the double junior world champion, has moved up into 4th place from 8th in the obstacles, and now it's Cicinelli, Popov and Chamizo who've made the drop, and the chasing pack behind have all climbed. Salomo from Spain just behind Cicinelli by 6 modern pentathlon points, and that is where we're going to be staying focused here. Cicinelli on the bubble in 9th with only 9 of the 18 making it through to the final. And we start to look down the back of the field. Son making a move from the bottom of the pack up into 15th. And down at the bottom, Ashida and Serrano holding up the pack. A drop from Bello as well in 13th of 7 places. So that is how things stand after the first 2 disciplines. We've done the fence, we've done the obstacles. The athletes are making their way to the pool. And whilst they do, let's take a look back over that obstacle course race. Really, really good second discipline there. The 18 athletes really performing on the obstacle course. And they move on to something just a little different now. Fence done, obstacles done, and we take a step just outside the main arena to the pool. A 25-meter pool, a 200 freestyle race for the 18 competitors. So they'll do 8 laps of the pool. This pristine pool, baked in the sunshine. The athletes have talked about it being super hot. Men's semi-final B, swim, the third of the disciplines here in this World Cup final. Semi-final for the men. Top 9 will make it through to the final tomorrow. You'd think the sun would, or the swim would be a bit refreshing, but it has been said by the athletes the pool is hot. And we managed to have a chat with the Swiss athlete, Vital Müller.
Hi, I'm Vital. I'm from Pentathlon, Swiss, and here for the World Cup final. The transition between OCR and swimming is obviously a thing that we practice a lot at home, or at least also think about it. I think practice is one thing, and then also preparing is a big thing, because you have to have your stuff at the right place, because it's moving pretty fast and you're coming with adrenaline from the OCR, and you need to know where your swimsuit is and where your goggles are, so that you don't lose time searching for anything. But then it's just going straight to the swimming pool, put up your swimsuit, and then if you have some time, mobilize your shoulders a little bit. But since you're already quite warm from the previous discipline, it's not a huge warm-up that's coming afterwards. For practicing those transitions, especially from OCR to swimming at home, it's a little bit harder, because we don't have it at the same place. So our OCR is at least like 20 minutes from our swimming pool, so we never do it completely one by one. But we have a lot of competitions each year, so I think already now in the first year with all the competitions we're kind of prepared, or we practiced it, but not at home, no.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? The obstacle course training happening 20 minutes away from where the swim is. So is that a huge disadvantage?
Oh, I think it just depends on what you make of it, really. But Vital really pointed out important things coming from the obstacle to the swimming, and it's just that adrenaline rush and surge that you get, that you now have to calm down and mentally prepare for the swim and the laser
I'm sure I
run.
can, leader. The obstacle course is electric, isn't it?
It is. It really is. And it's just great to see how these athletes have been adapting, and we see the likes of Valentin Below as well, who's adapted from the horse riding to obstacles.
Yeah, Below having a bit of a drop there, and we we'll be starting to focus on the points in a little bit, but we also managed to have a chat with the sole Singaporean athlete who only got the call up last week to come up to the finals. Here's Nicholas Lim.
Hi, my name's Nick, and I'm a pentathlete from Singapore. Yeah, so I think the OCR to swimming transition is particularly difficult, because when you go through the OCR, you build a lot of lactic acid in your muscles, in your forearms, your upper body, and a lot of the swimming relies on the upper body. So I think the transition there is to try and make sure you stretch your upper body as best as you can, and then flush as much of the lactic acid as you can, and also fuel up before the swim. Yeah, I definitely go in with the mentality that I want to save as much energy as I can while going a pretty fast time in the swim. For some reason, I always come out still very tired, so sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work too well. But yeah, I go in with the mentality that I should try and go maybe 95% of my effort, and then maybe I have a bit more energy for the laser run. The 50 is so long, so you use your upper body so much more, whereas with the 25, you get the wall so you can push off. And I like being underwater a little bit longer, so I get to do that more with the 25. It feels shorter, and it's less painful.
Yeah, interesting comparing the difference between the 25 and 50 metre pool. Just last weekend at the Junior World Championships, the athletes competed in a 50 metre pool, less turns, so longer swims between the turns, but with the turns, you put a bit of power in under the water, does speed up your time, but it also takes a little bit out of the legs. So we've got 3 heats in the swim here, 8 laps of the pool. And we again go in reverse order. In that bottom gaggle is Valentin Belot. He's on 557 modern pentathlon points, and sitting in 9th is Ciccinelli on 568 points. So he's not too far behind at the moment, but would be looking for a good time in the pool. Belot going in lane 1, closest to us. Peronas from Lithuania in 2, Son of Korea in 3, Tuma of Czechia in 4, Ashida of Japan in 5, and Argentina's Serrano at the far end of the pool. Heat 1 of the swim here in the men's semi-final at the World Cup final, and off they go.
So we can see Son of Korea making a lead here in this first half of the first 50. Below towards the bottom of your screen here looks to be keeping up with Son. Below will be looking to put in a good swim before the laser run, but it's Son who turns first on that first 50, just underneath 30 seconds. With this pace he's going, he should clock around 2 minutes 2:05. Look at that underwater, look at that distance that Son gets with that turn. And that is the most important part of this 25-meter pool with the 200 meters. Using all those turns to your best ability to try knock off a few seconds. That is the first 100 meters for Son. Look at those kicks he's generating now on this third 50.
Yeah, Son and Tuma leading the line. Ashida, the Japanese athlete, in lane 5 in 3rd position. Belot, not too far behind in 4th, but will be looking to increase his speed. That is for sure. Belot closest to us, but Son is so far ahead, it's difficult to pick up the rest of the pack. He is doing a big swim here.
This is an incredible swim here from Son. He must be really comfortable with his laser run abilities to put so much energy into this swim. It's the last turn for his 200 meters. This is a really fast time from Son. Should be around 2 minutes. Every second you shave off in the swimming, you score an extra 2 modern pentathlon points. So Son really making use of his swimming time. 2:03 for Son. And it looks like Ashida from Japan turning on 2:08. Tuma 2:10 and Below 2:13. 2:13 for Peronas as well, but it seems like Serrano did not start this swimming race.
Yeah, interesting that Serrano didn't come out, but Belot not really setting the world alight with a 2:13 there. He's going to have a tough run in the laser run. When they started the race, they get out pretty quickly, but Son just set the pace right from the start, didn't he?
Yeah, no, brilliant swim from Son. Look at his kicks just making waves. Sometimes athletes like to kick more underneath the water than above the water because you sort of have more control of the water that you have instead of kicking above and kicking in the air. But it works for Son.
Yeah, it's what works for you. So heat number 2, 2:03.45, set by Son Jung-wook of Korea in the first heat. Here we have Chamizo, Popov, Ciccinelli, Salomo, Müller and Gal. Christian Chamizo of Spain leading them out. The fastest time here, unsurprisingly, it's the Italian in the last 12 months. He's won a 1:59.06. Matteo Ciccinelli. Ciccinelli sitting in 9th place at the moment. Is he going to put down a little power in the pool just to move himself up the rankings for the laser run? 2nd and 3rd fastest in the pool in lanes 6 and 5 respectively. Gal from Hungary and Müller from Switzerland. Heat number 2 of the swim, the fastest time so far, 2:03.45. Off they go then, and looking to set a decent time, but of course the athletes pacing themselves, so they've got enough left in the tank for the laser run.
Excellent underwater from Popov. He's really, with that first 25, he almost went to the 15-meter mark, really making use of every second. But it looks like Ciccinelli is making up for time in the middle of the pool. Look at the underwater from Popov. So Popov gets that extra lead there, but it's Ciccinelli in the middle of the pool who really just catches up to Popov.
Popov in lane 2. Turning together.
It's further out in the pack, Vital Müller, who is really picking things up in this swim, in this first 100 meters. It'll be interesting to see this split time. So it's 59 seconds for Müller. If he keeps this pace up, he will definitely finish around 2 minutes.
Yeah, fastest through the 100 meters for Müller of the 2 heats so far, and he makes the turn to come in for his final run now.
You can see Müller's also just looking to the, he was looking to the right of him where you could see Ciccinelli, but there he looks to the left to pace himself amongst Ciccinelli. Popov is just falling away now in this third 50.
What a pace being set by the Swiss athlete here. He's leading the way from Ciccinelli, who's had the fastest swim of these 6 in the last 12 months. And joining in with the party, it's Gal as well. The fastest 3 swimmers are going to come in at 1, 2, 3.
Gal really saved that energy for a sprint finish, and Gal touches second against Müller. That extra juice we talk about from Gal, that is brilliant pacing from the Hungarian in this 200 meters.
Well, I thought that Ciccinelli might make a move, but a 2:04.13, not a bad time. At Müller and Gal in the 2:02s, setting the 2 fastest times so far. Song with the 3rd fastest time, Ciccinelli with the 4th in the pool, with 1 more heat to come. 6 athletes remaining as we take a look back at heat number 2. Surprised to see Müller and Gal making a run at this?
I mean, just watch how Gal was a body lengths away from Müller, and it was really in that last 50 that he let loose. You can see on the top of your screen, that's Gal, the Hungarian, who had that extra spark at the end.
Yeah, so pacing each other as they do. 2 fastest times coming in lane 5 and 6 in the 2nd heat. Here is the 3rd heat. This is the leading pack overall after the first 2 disciplines. Nedchik smashing the obstacle course is going out in lane 1. He'll lead them out. Just 16 years old. He is going to be challenging here, and that is for sure. We'll wait to see what he can do on the laser run. Lane 2 is Kolashar of Hungary. Tovkai of Ukraine, who won the fence, is in 3. Mohammed from Egypt, who has got the fastest time of the lot in the pool, going in 4. G is the 2nd fastest, going in 5. And the other Egyptian, Mohammed Hassan, goes in 6. Tovkai's not got a bad swim either, but Mutas Mohammed in 4 and G Shifan in lane 5 are the 2 to really look out for. They could push themselves a little bit further up, but again, saving the juice is what it's all about for this top 6.
Well, these top 6 athletes are only differentiated by 10 points, so they will have to put in a good swim. Can't really rely on their top 6 standing so far. So look at the waves these men are making for this first 25 meters. Quite an even field we have so far. Looks like Nedchik in your screen there. Actually, it's Kolosar. So Nedchik at the bottom of your screen, leading the pack, but towards the end of the pool, looks like Yi of China. Netchik turning on that last bit of the 100 meters. Great shot there with the underwater camera. Look at that underwater. Mahali Kolazar really making use of those dolphin kicks. But it's Ji of China dragging away from the pack. He's putting everything into this swim.
He certainly is. He's absolutely miles ahead, and he is trying to get himself, by the looks of things, at the top of the pile for the laser run. I think he's going to have a bit of an ask because Netchik was a long way ahead on points of everybody, but he is putting something down here in the pool that is a bit of a statement to the others in the top 6.
A statement indeed, and I think he might be scared for the start of the laser run, so he's really trying to put as much in to be in a comfortable position and just rely on the shooting. But it's Ji just motoring away for that last 5 meters of this 200.
The dark horse, we called him at the start, and the lineup on the piste, and he has come through in a 2-minute 00:33, miles ahead of Tovkai, who finished in second place. Tovkai setting a time of 2:05:61. Interesting to see Mohammed not really pressing too hard. He's very happy to go into the laser run with what looks like it's going to be the 5th fastest time, or the 5th position I should say, after the 3 disciplines. Netchik still leading, and those points convert into seconds advantage over the next group of people. But we take a look back at heat number 3. Referred to Ji as the dark horse at the beginning, the leader. He certainly wasn't dark there. He was right in the spotlight, miles out front.
Yeah, he's really making a statement here in this men's semi-final, looking for that spot for Super Sunday.
Well, the swim has happened. We've had the first 3 disciplines all separated, and it's Akim Netchik still sitting at the top of the pile. And look at the lead. He's got 21 points, converts to 21 seconds, the advantage he'd have. But in the pool, Ji has made a leap up to second position. The others just moving down, but staying in the top 6 nice and comfortable. The 2 Egyptians in 5th and 6th going out 10 seconds apart. They may well be pacing each other in the laser run. This is where all the action's going to happen. Cicinelli, Muller and Gal all making moves in the pool, moving up into the top 9. And there's just a 3-second gap from Gal in 9th to Chamizo in 10th. From there, it's 2 seconds to Popov and 10 to Son. They're all still in the running. We go a little bit further down. You can't really rule out any of the top 15 of being in contention. Might be a stretch too far for Tuma and Ashida. Serrano finishing 18th. He didn't start in the swim, and we've been told that he will not be finishing. We hope he is okay. But before we come on to the thrilling laser run, let's take a look back at the action in the pool. So 3 of the 5 disciplines done here in the second men's semi-final at the 2025 World Cup final. The athletes now will move from the pool back into the main arena for the double header to finish things off. 3,000 meter course over the grass here in the baking sun. Soft on the knees, but pretty heavy underfoot. We'll do a formation lap before entering the range for the first time. 4 visits to the range in total, separated by the 600-meter lap. They need to hit the target 5 times before they're released for the rest of the run. After their 4th shoot, they will complete the outer, inner, and final run into the line. The top 9 making it through to the grand final tomorrow. Prepare yourselves, ladies and gents. It's time for the laser run in the men's second semi-final. 18 athletes has been reduced to 17, with Argentina's Serrano dropping out. So those 17 athletes will shortly take to the course. Let's take a look at the challenge that faces them.
Well, we've managed to strap a GoPro to the Australian modern pentathlete Genevieve Janssen van Rensburg. She shows us what to do in the shooting range, getting 5 green lights before exiting and making a run. So she just missed that 3rd one, but good comeback from Genevieve. You can see it's a snake-like track that they have with different types of loops in and out.
Nothing too tight though on the bends.
No, not at all. Sort of a longish curve they have, and it's here on the straights where sprints can happen, overtakes could happen. All the excitement will be taking place on those straights.
Yeah, we saw in the first men's semi-final that there were quite a lot of overtakes on the track, but there are still some overtakes in the range as well, as the athletes go in puffing hard on visits 3 and 4 to the range. We can see a lot of switcheroos for the shoot, but we have seen athletes pounding down these long straights and getting ahead of the people in front of them. Top 9 making it through to the finals.
So just to the right, you could see that finish arc that athletes finish in.
So it's Anders Gal of Hungary sitting in 9th place. Here is the leader, Akim Nedchik. 16-year-old having a bit of pressure on him out front, but he set himself up nicely, and he has got a 21-second lead at the start of this laser run. And if he can perform well in the range, you'd fancy him to make it through, but I think we can go all the way down. If we look at Gal on 866 points, we can go down to Bello on 841 points. So he will go out, let me do some quick maths here, 25 seconds behind number 9. And with the run shoot, you certainly can gain 21 seconds.
Yep, and I mean, we've seen Below in this position below before, so he knows what to do in situations like this.
Yeah, preparing, bouncing up and down, getting himself ready, going out number 14. Keep an eye on him, because he is one of the athletes that we thought was going to be fairly comfortable at the start of the laser run, but he's still happy enough to smile for the cameras, but he's a bit further down the pack than he would have expected. And he is getting ready in the range. And as he prepares for a warm-up shoot, let's hear what he had to say.
Hello, j'ai 32 ans, je suis double champion du monde. J'ai fait 2 fois les Jeux Olympiques. Et depuis un mois tout juste, je suis jeune papa. Les transitions, on a intégré ça il y a maintenant 7 ans, donc on commence à s'y habituer maintenant. Au début, c'était un peu un bouleversement parce qu'à chaque fois, on avait 1 heure entre chaque épreuve. Maintenant, on a entre 15 et 20 minutes. Moi, j'aime bien parce que ça dynamise, même pour le public, c'est plus sympa à suivre. Ça fait moins de temps mort. Et en tant qu'athlète, en fait, on s'y habitué dans le temps. C'est vrai qu'on a eu l'habitude avec le pentathlon d'avoir les épreuves qui évoluent dans le temps. Et là, les transitions, je trouvais ça assez excitant parce qu'on se mettait à préparer nos affaires un peu comme en triathlon pour que tout soit prêt, pour essayer d'optimiser notre temps, récupérer un maximum. Mais pour s'y préparer, moi, je sais qu'à l'entraînement, souvent, j'enchaîne les épreuves sans avoir le chrono des 15-20 minutes quand même pour avoir en compétition, mais enchaîner les efforts parce que d'une discipline à l'autre, on a besoin de compétences différentes. Et du coup, les avoir tout de suite au tac, c'est vrai que ça s'entraîne à l'entraînement. Et c'est comme ça que je me prépare pour les compétitions.
Right. He said a lot there, but I'm going to ask you a really simple question. It's a yes or no. Can Bello do it?
Yes, I think he can.
Good stuff.
But really important points he touched on there. It is really important to practice those transitions between the disciplines, given the time frame that you have in a competition too. So whether that be having a simulation day where you do all 5 athletes behind each other, and like you said, it's like in triathlon, you really have to practice that transitions between the two different all the disciplines.
We're getting a look at number 2 going out. Is G, the dark horse, as we dubbed him, right at the top. He's in a strong position. Kochar from Hungary going out 5 seconds after G, and then Tovkai comes out a little after that. But yeah, fascinating with Bello talking about the transitions in his training. Mohammed here, Mutaz Mohammed, who got his second consecutive junior world title last weekend in Székesfehérvár. Our Hungarian crew will be impressed that I've finally learned how to say the name of where the junior world championships were in Hungary last weekend. He goes out in 6th position. He's got a 39-second handicap. Sorry, 29-second handicap. 39 seconds is the other Egyptian. Hassan Cicinelli comes in for his practice in the range, and he goes out 40 seconds out. So that group of Mohammed, Hassan and Cicinelli will all be pretty close to each other, as will Müller, the Swiss athlete, going out 8th. Gal just a second behind him in 9th. I mean, this is really hard to call, isn't it, as we get a look at the starting lineup and the handicaps we've got. G at the front, going out 21 seconds behind Nedchik. Be interesting to see whether he can cling on in the laser run in these hot conditions. But this is that starting group that we'll be focused on in 9th position. Anders Gal of Hungary holding that vital 9th position. Can he climb up through the gap, and can any of these athletes make it through? We're ready for the start of the laser run. The conclusion of this semi-final is upon us.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, on your marks.
Akim Nedchik, the neutral athlete, the teenager, looked a little bit under pressure, because sometimes coming out the front can be a challenge. You've got to set the pace nicely. You don't want to go out too hard, but equally, you don't want to go out too soft. And Ji Shifan of China waiting for those 21 seconds to pass, and he is now up and running. Mihaly Koletar goes out next, and he'll be shortly followed by Alexander Tovkai, Hungary and Ukraine, going out. And Mutaz Mohammed in to the run as well. And Mohammed Hassan, his teammate, 10 seconds behind. Cicinelli will come out as well. And now Vital Müller, who's followed by Andras Gal, wearing the number 9. Gal is the last of the athletes that is in a provisional qualification position. He's followed quickly out by Chamizo and Popov, but we are following Andras Gal, and wearing number 10. Chamizo is chasing him down with Popov just behind. Here is Gal of Hungary in the position that he wants to stay in or improve on. There is a big gaggle of athletes hunting for these top 9 places.
We might be seeing our first takeover of this race. Chamizo just on the tail of Müller. He's on the straight and overtakes Müller, but it's Popov following on. Müller now in 9th, but it's Chamizo did that overtake.
So Chamizo, the Spaniard, now sitting in 9th place. Nedchik, G, Koletar, Tovkai, Mohammed, Hassan, Cicinelli, Gal and Chamizo in the qualification positions. That number 10 is now in the 9th position. Popov just behind him in 10th position, wearing the number 11.
Well, it's 3 green lights for Neček. Sitting on that 3rd one, he's struggling. The rest of the pack is about to enter the range, but it's Neček who creates that lead. We have Murtaz, Kolazar entering the range now.
Yeah, so the range in the picture-in-picture on your screen, the leaders in there looking for a good first shoot to maintain their lead. But look now, Popov making the move around the outside. Chamizo sitting in 10th. Popov overtaking. Well, what a move from Mohammed after the first shoot. He's moved up into 2nd position with a great visit to the range. Kolosar in 3rd, G dropping to 4th. Now in the range, Chamizo in 9th, struggling to get his last shot, and it was Popov who got out, and Muller's gained some ground as well. So now it's Popov on the bubble. Popov wearing number 11, sitting in that 9th place.
Chamizo was in a run for that 9th position, but it was his shooting that caught him out. Chamizo will be looking to chase down Popov in this running lap. But it was Mohammed Murtaz who had an excellent shooting series, who is now sitting on 2nd place. Popov on that 9th position and catching up on to Gal.
Well, they are in a hot race here. Popov and Gal, 8th and 9th. Neček is coming into the range for the 2nd time in the lead, and he is followed in not far behind. Looks like Mutas Mohammed, and the range now in picture-in-picture. We're following 8th and 9th on the track as they come into the home straight.
Neček just sitting on the 2nd green light. It is Murtaz Mohammed with 3 green lights, and Neček is out of the range, but so is Mohammed of Egypt. Excellent shooting from Mohammed. The rest of the pack now in the shooting range.
Well, the chasing pack are closing in on 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, so we are going to tighten up in the pack here. Gal into the range, Popov into the range, but Popov has got 3 out of 5. Gal just getting his first shot here. Popov has nailed the 2nd shoot. Popov moves up through the field here, and this is really great stuff. Popov in 8th, Gal now in 9th position, just comes out of the range. Chamizo's just 1 off from joining him back on the track. There is a 25-meter gap. We are now following Gal, number 9, in 9th position.
Will Chamizo have what it takes to catch up on to Popov and Gal? Chamizo seems to be tiring out, but it's Gal chasing down Tovkai. Tovkai could be in a dangerous position with this overtake that Gal is about to take.
Gal coming up the inside loop on Tovkai, who started in 4th. Tovkai, he's a big man. He doesn't look like he's shaking his head, nodding his head too much, but he is starting to slow a bit.
This is the 3rd running lap of 5. It is the middle of the competition, and this is where it gets difficult, but it looks like Gal will do an overtake of Tovkai. Tovkai now in 9th position, and Chamizo will be looking to chase down Tovkai.
Tovkai now sitting in 9th place. He has got a big gap behind him, but looking just a little bit further up the field, I'm starting to see Xi of China slowing up. He's battling in the conditions here, and I think he could get swept up by the 4 behind him. Could be Xi that finds himself in 9th position. It's all about the shoot for this gaggle now.
Well, further up in the pack, we also have Solimano and Valentin below, who is shifting gears on this third lap. It looks like Ciccinelli is just tiring out. What has happened to Ciccinelli?
Well, what's happened to Mutas Mohammed? He's came out the range first. Nedjic has overtaken him out the front as we are in the range. And Tovkai, the man in 8th. Ciccinelli behind him in 9th. As Popov comes out, he has another good shoot. He's climbing up. Hassan out of the range. G not doing too bad. G I worry for on this lap though. Tovkai struggling in the shoot, pumping hard, and he could get caught up. No, he has got out, but we've got a real race on Salerno. Bello's come out. Bello has done it. He's come out. He is in a strong position now to challenge for a place in the final. He is 9th, and Valentin Bello is now on the bubble, and the man wearing number 14 is being chased down by 3. Oh, this is some race.
Solimano and Peronas of Lithuania got their eyes on Below. Below is in a dangerous position here. He really needs to keep the pace up on this 4th running lap. Below started off in 14th position, but it's Solimano who started off in 13th position, closing the gap on Below. Below's really picking up pace here.
I think they've still got a chance. This Gagler 3, Bello leading it to catch up with Tovkai and even G, who are just clinging on through this lap. One more visit to the range for these athletes before a mad dash. This is promising to be an absolute cracking finish.
Look at Solimano just closing the gap on Below. Below knows that he's just right behind him. Below holding on that 9th position. First few athletes are in the range. It is Nedjic and Mohammed. Mohammed with 1 green light, 2 green lights for, 3 green lights for Mohammed. Nedjic just sitting on that 1 green light. What's happened to Nedjic?
I think he should be safe, but Mohammed has come out and will lead this final lap as I think he was expecting to. And Nedjic finally gets out before Gal gets his 3rd shot in. 4th, Gal will be out pretty soon. Kolshar's in, Hassan's in, Popov has had 2 great shoots, now 3. He's going to climb up again. G in the range. I think he's under threat here along with Tovkai. And there is Bello. Bello needs another good shoot. Kolesar and Hassan are out of the range. Tovkai is now being taken over by Bello in the range. Bello has moved a little bit safer up the pack. Bello in 8th, G out. Tovkai has been overtaken and has been dumped not only by G but also Peronas. Oh, this is a race and a half here. We are focused on G there, looking like he's in a lot of trouble here. Peronas behind him. Bello looks like he's gone safe here. G getting swept up. Started in 2nd position, but he's run out of juice, and the Lithuanian has moved into a qualification position. He started in 15th, 1 minute and 12 seconds behind the leader. Titas Peronas of Lithuania has put himself in contention here as he comes around the first half of the inner loop. The leaders now just jogging out front. Nedjic and Mutas Mohammed looking pretty solid, but the Lithuanian has left G behind. He is going to come into the final bend. What a performance from Peronas. Peronas coming from miles behind. And as the leaders cross the line, Akim Nedjic and Mutas Mohammed just jogging through the last 150 meters. Popov had an absolutely brilliant time in the range. Absolutely fantastic for him. He was able to jog across the line with Gal. Hassan through clear in 5th. Bello, an amazing performance from him. Colisar, Peronas overtaking, and Salomo has done it. The Spaniard took out G as well. Salomo, an incredible performance from him as well. G just couldn't do enough after a fabulous visit to the pool. He just couldn't do it, nor could Tovkai. They started right up the top, but in the end, the laser run outdid them. Ashida comes across the line in 13th place behind Tuma. And now Muller gritting his teeth, trying to get out there and over the line. And bringing up the rear is Chimizo, who blew up in the run. Had to stop at points. Son looking to come across the line in 15th place. Oh, it's tough out there. It's a real tough battle. Pacing yourself around this 3,000 meters and settling yourself enough for the shoot. A real challenge. And there is Chimizo. You can see maybe carrying a little injury. He's just coming through the second half of the inner loop. I don't see Ciccinelli out there anywhere. I wonder if he's just pulled up somewhere. As we see Chimizo come around the final bend. He'll want to finish this, Christian Chimizo, but you can see what it's done to him. He is battling around, of course. Well, we're seeing that heard news that Ciccinelli has had to pull out of the race. We hope he's okay. I'm sure he'll be attended to. But brave Christian Chimizo from Spain coming through the final 40 meters to cross the line. And all the athletes at the end here waiting for him are spent. They are absolutely shattered. And let's not forget, the top 9 need to go off, get some recovery in, because they will be back out here tomorrow for the grand final. So Chimizo crossing the line to complete the race. But Mutaz Mohammed took it across the line. I'm not sure there was any doubt that he was going to be in the top 9, but a brilliant performance from him. A completely miraculous performance from Gal, Popov, and Bello. I asked you the question, could he make it? Elida, you were sure, and you were right.
Yeah. I mean, no, Bello started off in 1 minute 9 seconds, and not far behind was Peronas, who started off in 1:12. So that ultimately means catching up about a 30 seconds gap between 9th position, and that's how you well-deserved for those two athletes.
Peronas and Salomo as well, doing superbly to finish 8th and 9th. G and Tovkai, we started to see them tire after the second visit to the range, and it must have spurred those behind on.
Yeah, I mean, must be the energy used in the swim, whether it be the energy from the swim or the obstacles, but it's all it takes in the pentathlon race. But here we have the highlights of this men's semi-final.
Nedchik looked under a little bit of pressure. I mean, let's not forget, he's only 16 years old. He looked under a little bit of pressure, but he did so well. He got overtaken by Mutaz Mohammed, but had the grit and determination to got overtaken in the range and then chased after him down the pack. So there's a lot of power in Nedchik for such a youngster. Huge promise in there. But we saw changes both in the range and, as you predicted, in the run as well.
Yeah, and I mean, just talking about Nedchik, it really takes a lot of pressure on your shoulders to start off with a 20-second head start. So must have been that first shooting series that he struggled on. But it was Mutaz Mohammed who just caught up to him in the second lap, and I fear for the rest of the field for men's final as what Mutaz Mohammed could do.
Yeah, Andras Gal here taking Tovkai on the track, and a couple of good shoots, but wearing number 2, G started to suffer early. That's his Ciccinelli. He blew up, basically, had to go too hard. He started in 7th position, but he just got swept up. I hope he's okay because he did look in a lot of strain there. But this is the man that we were all looking out for. Valentin Belot managed to get into the top 9 as Mohammed and Nedchik get the bell. The ice packs are applied immediately. Great work from the team here looking after the athletes because the sun is still baking hot. Belot, though, magnifique.
Man of the moment. What a comeback from Belot and Chimizo.
And Salomo coming out of the range and looked over his shoulder, had a little smile on his face there as he knew he'd taken G, and then came the Lithuanian. Perona, starting in 15th position, managed to close in on the top 9. Mohammed with his signature celebration, high fives, Akim Nedchik, those two over the line first. But Peronas, fantastic in the laser run, has made it through along with Salomo and Belot. Well, he gave us nervy moments, but the Frenchman is through to the final as well. So the top 9, Mohammed, Nedchik, Popov, Gal, Hassan, Belot, Kolashar, Peronas and Salomo.
You have Aurora Tomietti, Ciccinelli and Micheli.
Yeah, he's looking all right. Thank goodness. That's good to see. He just blew up there in the sun, and we said they'd be battling each other and the conditions, and that was the case. So here is the result after the 5 disciplines. Nedchik, Mohammed, Gal, Popov, Hassan and Belot in the top 6. Nedchik having a fantastic obstacle course to set himself up for this brilliant finish. Joining them in the grand final tomorrow will be the next 3. And what a performance from Kolashar, Salomo and Peronas to make it through to the World Cup final tomorrow. Xi and Tovkai got swept up. They just started to tire through the 3rd and 4th laps and were swept up by those behind and didn't quite make it through. It shows that you really have to contain and be efficient with your energy to save some for the laser run. Ciccinelli unable to finish along with Serrano. Chimizo bravely crossing the line in 16th position. The semi-finals are done here in Alexandria. We have the finals coming up tomorrow, starting with the women's final in the morning, followed by the men's final in the afternoon. Thanks to all of you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the second men's semi-final, and we'll see you all tomorrow, leaving you with the highlights from today's session.